What's up? I'm Charlie from Betcha, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
I'm loving the music that I'm listening so far.
Thank you.
And it's funny because when I put California in, the first vibe I got was Amber Lynn. Like, you have Stephen Christian's voice in a sense. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Amber Lynn, but that's that's been one of my favorite bands for a while.
Word.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, it's weird, like, the different references that we kind of get on our music. Just all over the place.
Yeah.
But
Is that something you guys are trying to do purposely, like just being all over the place, or you guys are still
yeah, I
trying to
think
figure
so.
out
I mean,
your
like,
sound?
one of our favorite bands is the 1975, and, like, their last record was just all over the place. Like,
Right.
it was not really genre specific. And so, yeah, I think that's something that we've always thought is really cool, and not, like, having to necessarily, like, tie ourselves down to one particular sound. And it makes it fun just for writing and just, like, creating, just knowing that there's just an empty kind of canvas to
Right.
paint on. So
Now, what's that writing process like when you are just being all over the place? Like, because there's no real structure anymore. Like, you just whatever you feel that day, you make it happen. So does that make it easier in a sense?
yeah, I think so. I mean, it just, like, before it was always just us kind of getting into a room, plugging up and playing, and then whatever sounded dope, we kind of just dive into that.
Right.
And now it's more so, I don't know, just mixing it up in a sense. Like, if we just want to sit down and dive into Logic and just shoot the shit and,
Right.
put a drum loop down or, a melodic lead or something like that and follow that vibe. I think before we used to get a little frustrated because, going in every day and just setting up and seeing what happens can get a little exhausting if you're not getting something awesome out of it. And so for us, it's just having the flexibility for every day to be different and every song to not necessarily have to shoot for one thing.
Right.
I still feel like, Betcha, what we're going for, I mean, we're a young band, still sounds cohesive and it still all fits together just because it's the same four dudes, doing it.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of our process at the moment, but it's, it's always changing. So.
Do you feel that constant evolution of the sound challenges you when you're writing?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's just fun and just different. Yeah, kind of what I said before. Just always having. I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but just always being fucking weird and going for it.
Which I think that's what I mean. That's what draws people's attention. It's either you have a song that resonates with someone because of the meaning behind it, or you just have something that's just so left field that, like, people are just like, this is so crazy that I love it. Like, so in doing that, does that make it harder when it comes down to figuring out producers? Is that why you guys are kind of trying to figure out how to produce it yourselves?
Yeah, I think right now it's just very beneficial for us, at least like in doing demos, just to see how far we can push it on our own. And then when the time comes to put together a full length or something like that, I feel like we'll just be a little bit smarter about what direction to take it in, or just working like that.
Right. Now, I love the single that you guys have right now, Lucy Lucy. I love the 80s vibes on it as well. So, when you were writing the song, did you have those 80s vibes in mind, or is that something that kind of came along as you guys started to record it?
Yeah, so that song was just a very interesting journey that it took. That was just one of those songs that was just backing us, kind of shooting the shit, just jamming in our garage, putting a song together. And then we worked with our producer, Jakir King, on that, and then he had the idea to speed it up, and we actually sped it up a good bit, and then just changed around the guitar lick and stuff like that. It used to be, like, very, like, almost southern rock, but with the new tempo, just, like, the lick, we kind of had to simplify it all, and then it just got into that 80s kind of clean, dreamy landscape that it's living in now. So, yeah, it's just, like, that's an example of us just doing the demo and having it a specific way, and then going to the producer and changing it up. And even now, we've learned from there when we're writing a song to just try 100 different outfits on it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
So yeah, that's just the process of that one.
Now, Jakir is actually like a producer that's been working with a lot of these, like, big rock bands.
Sure.
So did that process? Do you feel like he was the right producer for that song in particular?
Sure. Yeah. So Jakir's been with us kind of since we started forming the band. We just got connected with him very early on and kind of helped develop us into the band we are now. So yeah, it was he was a very influential in like us just learning to take things in a different direction and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Now, how is it that you mentioned earlier, like you guys are still a fresh new band, still kind of trying to figure yourselves out, but you guys are now under Atlantic Records, which is huge. It's a huge feat. Like not a lot of people can say that. So it's like, how did that opportunity kind of happen for you guys as you guys are still trying to figure out who you guys are as an artist?
Yeah, so our A&R Steve-O Robertson saw us at a show at the End in Nashville back when we were still in college. And then I think that was kind of our first introduction into Atlantic. And then at the same time, we were still just kind of getting developed and working with Jakir. And then it ended up just being a perfect storm of everything coming together at the right place, right time. And now we're finally getting out an EP this summer. And we have a single called Fallen that's going to be the next song coming out that we did with JT Daly. So yeah, just everything.
Now with this EP, like who are you guys working with as producers? Is there many producers involved?
Yeah, so Jakir I think has most of the songs and then he produced one called Swim Naked that's going to be on the EP. And then Drew Long, a Nashville guy, he did a song with us called I Don't Want to Die. Okay. That's a little more of a ballad, slower song. And then JT did Fallen, and then the other songs I think are the singles that are already out. Okay. So.
Now, one thing that I did notice on your music, and I hope I don't butcher the name of the song, "Losing My Mind."
Yes.
Okay, so I noticed on the acoustic version, I personally love the acoustic version more because I feel like you tried new things with your vocals on the acoustic version.
Yeah, so that was just one of those moments, or one of those things where we recorded "Losing My Mind." That was part of the songs we were doing with Jakir before even Atlantic got involved, and then it just took a while to get the music out. Just like a name change, some different things. Right. And then the acoustic version was probably recorded like 2 years later. And it's just one of those.
You had some time to really change.
So I feel like with songs, I don't know, once you live with them more, like if you, the first, like you're writing tape or something, you're writing a song, you'll lay down the vocal and then you'll sing it one way and then like subconsciously just over singing it 1,000 times over the next year, you'll just do stuff different with your vocals and hit it in a different way, but you never even like notice you're doing it. If that makes any sense, just like and then you listen back, you're like, oh shit, like it used to be so different. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like with that song, just the difference of a 19-year-old versus a 22-year-old, or just maturing and growing up and having more experience and being better. So yeah, it just sounds different, but it happens, with every song. Yeah. Like a song that we're writing right now, 4 years from now, I'll probably just sing it. Yeah, I'll think I'm singing it the same way, but you're not really. True. So
now you just got off tour with Matt Mason, and as you are working on this EP, debut EP, and then you're constantly touring, I'm sure you're kind of testing some of those songs out live. So do you feel like some of those songs kind of got reimagined the moment you hit the stage because of the performance, because of the way the audience kind of took them in?
Even Lucy Lucy was one that we didn't really get to play live in like that 80s more landscape. So I think over just the course of the Matt Mason tour, like we actually got comfortable. Like I feel like the first half of the tour, it was always one of our weaker ones. We were still trying to figure it out, and now it's one of our stronger ones. So yeah, and even like going on tour, like before that, we hadn't been on a long tour since a Kaleo tour, which was like 1.5 years or 2 years ago.
But even then, you guys were Wilder. You guys weren't the new band.
Wilder, yeah, different band name. But anyway, so we were just writing at home and just in our, in our garage, or just like kind of in the box on the computer, in our basement. And so we were all really excited because like, all right, we're going to go out on this tour with Matt Mason, and we're going to come back and we're going to have an itch to write songs that perform a little bit better live. I feel like before we went out on tour, everything was a little more chiller and everything was a little more like dreamier. And now, even since we've been writing in LA, we've been doing some writes, and just everything feels a lot more rock and just translates a little better live. Because after you're out on the road, you know what songs kind of get a good crowd reaction and what's going to make an audience feel a certain way. So now I feel like we have like this energy or this like burning inside of us to just like go home back to Nashville, or even when we're in LA, and just like write songs that we're like, I want to get up on stage and play this type of thing.
Right. Now, listening to Lucy Lucy, like it made me actually think about this, where it's like, I would love, if you haven't already, I would love to hear what a co-write collaboration would sound like if you guys sat down with Martin Johnson.
Okay.
Because I feel like he, right now his new band is very like 80s vibe, 80s vintage vibe. And I feel like, and I've always loved his storytelling, and I love like the storytelling that I've heard from you. So
Yeah.
I feel like you guys can make some magic with that.
Dude, we're about whatever, dude. Yeah, I mean, even our co-writes, like, we've just done stuff from like country to rock.
Nice.
I don't know. It's just, I think we get excited when we get in the room with someone, because it's just, we like to use whatever talents they have and just mix it up. And we love like writing by ourselves too. I don't know. It's just like we talked about at the beginning, just anything to kind of stretch the creativity and just, pull something different out of you is exciting. So yeah, right now we're just in a mode where we're just like throwing paint at the wall. So whatever
Yeah.
happens. So.
That's good though. That's the best. I feel like that's the best mode, because
sure.
once you start actually recording that stuff, I feel like now it starts to feel like work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it never really feels like work, but it's just, I mean, but we're young. I mean, we even say like we fucking love going on tour.
Yeah.
But anyone who's just a little bit older and more experienced is always just like, oh, that's great that you have that feeling. But I don't know. There's just something about it right now that like inspires us and just feels really good. So I don't know. I could be talking to you in like 10 years and maybe not, but
Let's do it just in case. You never know. You never know. Well, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me.
Yeah, dude.
I love the music that you guys have so far. You guys be sure to check out Betcha. If you're not familiar with the band, and for those that are not familiar with you, why music? Why did you choose music?
I don't know. I mean, we as a band have talked about it a million times. I think each of us have like a different itch as to why we got into it, but I feel like we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing, and life is short, so do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So
That's it. Well, thanks again, man. You guys be sure to check out Betcha if they come live anytime soon. They just wrapped the tour with Matt Mason, but check out their music on Spotify, and thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.